going on, everyone? I'm going to do some draft pick trading talk with you, and also talk about what to do, how to navigate that first and second round in 2020 in terms of trading, or who you should maybe pick. Maybe you shouldn't trade. Are you in a good position to trade? Should you hang tight and not move anywhere, move around in the draft? It's kind of a tough thing to determine without knowing where exactly you are, the flow of draft. But I think we can do some assuming. What's up, Jared? But let's dig into the first round and kind of talk about the first round. I did this in more extensive detail in my private Zoom call with exclusive members here on YouTube. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely check that out. Go to the main YouTube page. What's up, Marco? Marco, I just posted under the community tab a new video on my favorite players to draft in each of the top 6 rounds. So I went over the first round, the second round, the third round, the fourth round, the fifth round, and the sixth round, and said who my favorite players are in each of those rounds to target. I'm going to go over that in the first and second round here, but I'm going to leave that exclusive content for those guys in the other rounds. What I basically said, and we're going to talk about draft pick trading here, is that past this top 4 right here, let me use a different marker. That's right. We'll just use this. Past the top 4 here, where you have CMC, Barkley, Kamara, and so Barkley, CMC, Kamara, and Zeke. I'm not in love with anybody in this range. I mean, of course I love Jacobs. I love Drake and Eckler. But the honest truth is that everybody in this range right here is very, very, very similar, I think, in some ways to some of the guys you can get in this range. So if we talk about like a Godwin, for example, a Godwin is getting drafted in this range right here, anywhere in this range in the second round. Godwin, to me, yeah, I love Cook a lot. Cook is like in this range right here. And I think if you pair him with Madison, it's gold. But the bottom line for me is if you don't get a top 4 pick, I'm very tempted to trade this pick down into the second round to land myself a Godwin, because I can then move my 4th rounder into the second round, whatever, or 3rd rounder up into the second round by making that downgrade, by telling him, hey, this owner right here, I'll give you my 6th, 7th overall pick for your, pick 15 or whatever. All you got to do is, maybe they have 2 picks here. If you're already acquiring that pick, then they don't have another extra second round or whatever, then you're gonna have to go in a different direction. But maybe you move maybe you get them to do something crazy, like move your 6th rounder into their 3rd, and then you move your 3rd up into the 2nd. I'm not saying trading is a must. I'm merely telling you that if you're going to pick somebody in this range, you have to pick someone that's a difference maker. I don't think going wide receiver is smart here. Sorry, I had the camera down. I don't think going wide receiver is smart here, because every wide receiver, even Mike Thomas, is close enough to a Godwin that it doesn't make sense to go wide receiver there. If you think you can get a Drake or an Eckler here, then yeah, I'm okay with Mike Thomas and Drake. I love that as your 1-2. What I'm not okay with, though, is if you go Mike Thomas and the best option you have left is Fournette or a Mixon or a Sanders. And I know a lot of you love Miles Sanders this year, and if you do, trust your gut. But to me, I'd much rather have a Dalvin Cook. Whoops. I'd much rather have a Dalvin Cook and a Godwin, like we did in the Throne League, than have Mike Thomas and Sanders. But if you feel differently about Sanders, then go all in. Trust your gut on that. But I feel like this is more of a threat, especially given that you can, without much trouble, cuff Madison to Cook. I think that's That's a great way to do it. Dylan likes Galladay over Godwin. I don't blame you. Like, Galladay is a guy that you would probably put right around here. So Galladay is going to be in between the second and the third round. He could fall right here. He could go right here. But Galladay is a player that I think, as your third drafted player, can win you a league. Godwin is a guy that, if you pair with a Cook, can also win you a league. So it just kind of just depends on what your approach, what approach you want to take. I think trading down is definitely an option that you want to consider. So, what are you guys' thoughts? Godwin and Brady stack. I like that. I'm trusting Henry over Cook in 2020. I don't blame you. Galladay over Godwin. Mixon is nice in the second round, says JP. I don't like Mixon in the second round. Drake for life, says Alex. Mixon, says Dylan. I know a lot of you are fans of Mixon. I don't blame you. I know a lot of you are fans of Henry. I don't blame you. I'm just kind of working out this first and second round for you in terms of how I see it. But definitely trust your gut. Use me as a guide. Don't think that I don't make mistakes or I don't make misses. I have misses every year, as do all quote unquote experts. But give me Cook and Godwin all day long. So let's kind of go over this first and second round again in a little bit different way. And let's see if I can kind of answer some questions for you guys. So as I'm drafting in the first and second round, actually, let me go through first and second and third round. And then I'm going to leave the rest of it for the exclusive content that I put up for you guys, because I want to make sure that that is valuable to the folks that are subscribed to the membership levels here on YouTube. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, get on over to the main YouTube channel. So if you go to smitty1.com or go to youtube.com/the fantasy football show, click on a desktop. I don't think you can do it on mobile yet, but on desktop, click that join button in blue, and it gives you the tiered options to become YouTube members. I'm not taking away any content from YouTube from the content that I produce. I'm just adding more content to people that want more. And that's available one video at least a week that's exclusive to those members. And then if you get the upper echelon tier, there's 2 tiers, you can call into my lives anytime you want. You just say, Smitty, call me. I'll actually call you and dial you up, and you can become a regular member of the show by just becoming an exclusive member. So check it out. So aside from these top 4, Zeke, Kamara, Barkley, CMC, you could put Cook in there. It's a great point you made earlier. If you can guarantee me you get Madison, and I think you could. You can't even read that. What good is that? You can't even read that. Cook kind of belongs in that, so you could almost say top 5, because you can pretty much guarantee you're getting Madison. So past the top 5, I just don't love this range. I don't. I just feel like I said, Godwin's so close to those players. I don't like it. My favorite players to draft in this round 2 are, so this is round 2, and I'm not putting them in like draft slots here. I'm just writing them out. Mahomes, Lamar, and Clyde. Actually, let's leave Clyde for 3.1 because this is redraft. We're not talking dynasty here. So Mahomes, Lamar, I'd probably say Drake, Eckler, and again, I'm not slotting these guys in like spots here. I'm just writing their names, and they're not even particularly in order. Drake, Eckler, and Godwin. I think these are probably my top players to target in round 2. And again, on my exclusive content, I hit rounds 4, 5, and 6 as well, and tell you who my favorite players to target round 4, round 5, and round 6 are. So get on over and look at that. In this third round, that's where Clyde gets introduced in redraft as a win a league type player. Mahomes is still in consideration here. In fact, if you get Mahomes or Lamar here, you are in such prime position to dominate your league. Kelsey, Kittle. I mean, these guys win leagues for you in round 3. They just flat out can win leagues for you in round 3. Again, in the first round, it's Cook, kind of jumping in that top 5. So I'd say McCaffrey, Barkley, Kamara, Zeke, just the picks 1 through 4, and then probably number 5. And then I'm just wanting not to have a 6 through 12 pick this year. I just don't like it at all. I absolutely love this group as much as I love this group here. I like Jacobs here. I like Chubb here to an extent, but I'm starting to get close to pulling the plug on the Nick Chubb drafting and recommending in 2020 because Kareem Hunt is a must, and Kareem Hunt is now falling no later than like the mid-5th round range. And at some point, it's going to be impossible to draft both Chubb and Hunt because it's riskier to build your team around that duo than it is to draft just Hunt in the 5th round while drafting a Jacobs or an Eckler or whoever, Drake. Then you're kind of laying off that risk of not having everything Cleveland dependent. But as you get in that second round, these are league winners right here. League winners. Anybody else you want to throw out for this second round spot? Hit the thumbs up on the way in. We got 26 to 50 people watching constantly, and only 5 thumbs up. Wipe your feet. Wipe your feet at the door, please. Please. I just cleaned and mopped the floor. Wipe your feet. League winners. Who else do you like in this range? Who am I missing that you feel is in this range? Galladay for sure belongs right here. What am I thinking? And again, this is in no particular order. This is redraft. I'm not writing them in draft slots here. I'm just merely telling you to draft these guys in these rounds. Galladay, Kittle, Kelsey, Lamar, Mahomes, Clyde. These are 3rd round redraft league winners. Mahomes, Lamar. Again, they're going to duplicate because in some cases you will still see these guys. Gurley, hell no, Colin. Take a lap, Colin. Gurley in the 3rd round. Colin, you should know better. Dylan says, y'all are truly stupid if you don't think Chubb will be one of the leading rushers. First of all, Dylan, that's not very nice to say. Second of all, Dylan, you'll hear me say over and over, Nick Chubb is a top 5 running back per start. The only problem is how many starts will he get? Will he stay healthy all year? You can argue he will. I won't call you crazy at all, bro. I think there's nothing wrong with supporting Chubb. And I just think you have to have Kareem Hunt. At some point, Kareem Hunt's going to cost you too much to guarantee that you're going to have. And I believe that Kareem Hunt, not just that he won't take his job, Dylan. I got called stupid for saying Chubb is better than Hunt, even though obviously Chubb, I don't is obviously better than Hunt, Dylan. But I'm not going to call you stupid for saying that Chubb is better than Hunt. Just like I don't think you should call anybody stupid that says Hunt is better than Chubb. You literally have an argument on both sides of that coin, bro. There's no way to sit here and say with a straight face that either one of those guys can't be better than the other. They're both ultra talented. Hunt is probably the best and most talented backup in the entire league. He should be starting on every team but like 5 or 6 teams in the NFL. He's that good. He's a top 6 to 10 running back at the NFL level. He just happens to be behind Nick Chubb, who is also a top 5 to 10 running back per start. Hunt will be gone after this year. Take Chubb in Dynasty and you'll be set for years, says Dylan. Dylan, I don't think you're for sure going to be wrong on that. I just tend to lean in the direction of this is a very aggressive runner with a very gruesome knee injury in the past, with a heavy workload that's all between the tackles type work, his aggressive style mixed with all that together worries me a little bit long term. And when you have a running back as talented as Kareem Hunt behind him, they're going to use Hunt if Chubb goes down, they're going to insert Hunt. Hunt is going to explode. And then the problem becomes upon Chubb's return, what do you do? So if Chubb doesn't get hurt all year, you're right. You're right. He's going to blow up. He's going to be a top 5 to 7 running back on the year. I wouldn't be shocked if he was top 5. You're not going to be able to come back here, Dylan, and go, I told you so. I'm telling you, top 5 per start, Dylan. Top 5. Stefanski is the answer here. He is the architect of what Dalvin Cook just dropped in 2019. He's the architect behind why a lot of people love Hunt is because they saw what he did with Madison. Stefanski knows what he's doing. That offense is going to be revamped. It's going to be run heavy. They're going to run so much that both Chubb and Hunt will have a role. And Hunt's roll out of the gate won't affect Nick Chubb's production because there's so much to go around in a Stefanski-led offense. I love Nick Chubb per start in 2020. I just so happen to have a little thing called a gut instinct, bro. Dylan, take what you want from it. Baker will be more efficient. He will, because they're not going to ask him to do as much. Take what you want from my gut instinct, Dylan. I don't blame you if you don't want to follow it. I miss things too, bro. I have 16 years of track record of the bold predictions and gut instinct stuff that I do drop, but I've been wrong too, Dylan. I missed on Darrell Henderson last year, Dylan. So trust your gut. Use me as a guide. Help me push you over the edge. If you're on the fence on something, trust your gut. But I'm telling you right now, my gut's screaming that Kareem Hunt's going to win leagues for people in 2020. And at 5th round value, 5.1 to 5.08, I freaking love the opportunity that Hunt brings to your lineup, especially if you don't own Chubb. It's harder when you own Chubb because you're not wasting a pick, but you're taking a 5th round pick with your 1st round pick on one team, the running back position. It pigeonholes you into like a tough spot to be in if Cleveland runs the. Kyle, I'll answer your question in 1 second. Why should I take Lamar or Mahomes early? First of all, why would you not? But let me answer that in just 1 second. I see it. I see your question, bro. I see it. But if you can draft a Jacobs in round 1, who's just as safe as Chubb, in my opinion, or you take an Eckler at 12 overall, and you still get Chubb later, you're compartmentalizing that Chubb value and risk so that it doesn't affect your whole thing that you got going on. Whereas I think if you own Hunt and Chubb together, you're very dependent on Cleveland. You're very dependent on what they do on the ground for a given week, and you will lose your week if you have 2 of your running backs go down because they don't run the ball well, or Cleveland falls apart or doesn't do well with Stefanski, and it doesn't all mesh well in 2020. It's something to be worried about. I'm starting to get to that point where I'm like, draft Jacobs and draft Chubb. I'm sorry, draft Jacobs and draft Hunt. Don't draft Chubb and Hunt. But trust your gut. As for the question, hit the thumbs up. Wipe your feet. Taylor or Edwards-Hilaire? Edwards-Hilaire, bro. Saturday, be careful. You're going to get marked as spam by the automation because you're posting the same comment over and over, and that oftentimes will trigger spam. So you might want to not do that over and over. I see it. I see the question, bro. It's right in front of my face. Clyde Edwards-Hilaire is also right in front of your face, bro, because he is a must have in not only dynasty but redraft in that 3.01 range. Your 3rd drafted player, your money with Clyde Edwards-Hilaire. I understand people want to say that Damien's not going to go away. I got you, Kyle. I got you next. Damien's not going to go away. Everyone's saying, oh my God, there's news on Damien. They said the same thing about Damien not going away last year. And they didn't use Damien properly. They obviously have worries about Damien. I know he did really well in the Super Bowl, but he also did what Damien did in the Super Bowl. Damien did even better in 2018 to end the season. Damien was freaking a top 5, top 4 overall running back in his last 6 starts. In his last 6 starts in the NFL, including the playoff games, Damien, I believe, scored 10 TDs and had over 100 total yards a game, for 6 straight games to end out his 2018 campaign. He was on fire more in 2018. I think he was probably the second or third best running back in 6 straight starts, including playoffs, except for Zeke Elliott. I think he beat out every running back but Zeke Elliott in 2018. That's how good Damian Williams was. That's how on fire this guy was in 2018, and yet they didn't use him. He didn't have a bigger 2019. Like, everyone's so on board with Damian this year when he only finished well and had a very, very good Super Bowl effort. Damian is not carrying in the same momentum he was from 2018. So I don't know why everybody's super on board in 2020 on the Damian Williams train when they drafted Clyde in the first round. They made him the only first-round running back drafted in 2020 in the NFL draft. They've talked him up as if he's the best player in the entire 2020 draft pool. Andy Reid wanted him. Veach, the GM of the Chiefs, wanted him. Mahomes wanted him. They all feel he was the best player to take in the entire 2020 NFL draft. There's no way that all this little noise, these noise topics and conversations floating around, all this noise that's floating around is influencing me at all to think that, oh, maybe they don't want to start Clyde Edwards-Hilaire eventually. Will Clyde kick off things out of the gate on fire? Maybe not. Probably not. Plan for him not to. Plan for all these rookie running backs to take a little time. Swift, Akers, and I'm not sold on Akers at all. Edwards-Hilaire won't be on fire in week 1 unless he takes one carry, 65 yards to the end zone, which he fully is capable of doing. Jonathan Taylor is in a worse spot, in a much worse spot, because Jonathan Taylor is sharing with Nyheim Hines and Mack, or at least Mack. So right out of the gate, he's not getting half of the first and second down work, and he's probably getting very little, if not zero, of the PPR work. So 0 PPR work, maybe half, probably less than half the carries in Indianapolis in weeks 1 through whatever. He's going to have a very slow start. I think Clyde has a quicker start, but both of them are going to be slow out the gate. Go to sleeperu.com/Discord, Kyle, if you want to get in on my Discord. Now, to answer your question, Kyle, on Mahomes and Lamar, why would you draft them early? What do you consider early, Kyle? And me telling you in the top of the third, does that sound early to you? Because if that sounds early to you, we've got some work to do, bro. We've got a lot of work to do. If you've been brainwashed into thinking that Mahomes and Lamar in the third round are early, bro, we have a lot of work to do. If you're talking about like 18 to 20 overall, I'll tell you why. Mahomes and Lamar are worth a look at that spot because they can be the number 1 scorers in fantasy football, and you're getting them as your second drafted player. That's why. And all this don't take a QB early garbage is information and advice that people peddle out there that don't believe that Mahomes or Lamar will repeat. And they'll be they won't be mediocre, but they'll be like the number 1, number 2, maybe quarterback, but barely, or from people that really, really believe that you can never see a repeat, or Lamar won't do what he did last year again. He's going to drop off. If I told you Lamar or Mahomes are going to score exactly what Lamar Mahomes in the first round, if you knew that information to be concrete, locked and loaded. If I took Mahomes last year early, look what happened. Well, he got hurt, bro, and it was not something that you can anticipate. Lamar Jackson, if he repeats what he did last year, he'll be warranted in the first round in retrospect. You would say, I probably should have took him in the first round. Don't do that. You don't have to. ADP dictates that both Lamar and Mahomes can be had in the second round at the very earliest, and sometimes the third round. Should I trade Drew Brees for Dak or you got all these questions coming at me, bro. You got to let me answer one at a time. Drew Brees for Dak or Russell? Yeah, I mean, I would. I'd take Russell Wilson over all of them, so for sure. I like Brees, but what's your ideal start to a draft? Running back, it's all about flow of the draft. I think anybody that gives you an answer and says that you should go blah, 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 they're feeding you like, some kind of template information. It all depends on who's available. Like anybody that tells you to do something, go running back, wide receiver for sure, is feeding you a template. You can't draft like that. You have to draft best player available. I can give you an idea that in the 7 to 12 range, I'm not liking going wide receiver. I don't care if Mike Thomas falls to me at 1.7. I'm oftentimes going Jacobs or Eckler, and then I get Godwin in the second. Whereas if I was to go MT, I might not get a running back that's as close to the value Godwin is to Mike Thomas. Godwin is closer to Mike Thomas than any of the running backs will be closer to like Jacobs or Eckler. There's just going to be a big gap. That's crazy. You have to take MT over Eckler or Jacobs. I don't think it's crazy at all. I think Eckler, yeah, you don't take Eckler at 5 or 6, but Jacobs, I'd take Jacobs over MT. I don't think that's crazy at all. I think Jacobs is going to have a phenomenal. Godwin being so close to top 1, 2, 3 overall wide receivers, it makes versus wide to your second round pick, then by all means go Mike Thomas. But it depends on your league. Like I said, everything determines on flow. Dylan, that literally means nothing. Some players don't develop right away. Jacobs might not get passing work. Eckler, take Eckler. I'm not telling you to take Eckler over MT. I'm telling you either trade down, or if you're in a spot that's like 7 or 8, that I think it's warranted. Am I saying take Eckler at 5? No, I'm not saying take Eckler at 5. I take Dalvin Cook at 5. DK outperformed 27-year-old Parker, says Dylan. Mahomes, 18th overall is good. That's a good spot. Counselor told you to take running back. That's way too crazy. I'm taking Julio over Eckler. I don't blame you, but I wouldn't. Mahomes, 18th overall is good. Already read that one. How? Parker at 1,200 yards. Says pimping ain't easy. Smitty, my man, pick 2. DJ Chark, DK Metcalf, Scary Terry. Give me Chark and DK. But I love all 3. Tyreek Hill, Adams over Eckler, and I like Eckler, says Avi. That's fine, man. Draft how you feel. Trust your gut. I know I've done so many mock drafts that I love my teams way more when I go Eckler, when I go Jacobs over going a Hill, over going Julio. Julio isn't guaranteed anything, man. He's 31 years old and has a issue with his foot that could come up at any moment. So I wouldn't say he's guaranteed anything. Do I like him for one more year? I do. I don't think he's guaranteed anything. Can't wait for the Eckler to prove me wrong. He'll finish top. I love that people don't like Eckler at all. Like, I don't understand. How is Eckler at number 7 or 8? I'm taking him at 12 because I can. But how is Eckler at 8 overall, let's say, over Hill, over Adams, back before Gordon came back, and he was still, depending on the scoring format, still a top 7 to 8 running back when Gordon returned. Gordon's not there anymore. I hate to break the news to a lot of the people that want to just point to Melvin Gordon returning and Eckler dropping from number 5 or 4 to number 7 when he front-loaded a lot of his duties. I just don't understand. I don't understand at all how people aren't on the Eckler train. Eckler is working out like a beast. They're going to give him a ton more work on the ground. Maybe he won't rush for 1,200, 1,400 yards. You don't want him to. But Eckler's been a 500-yard rusher. That's not a negative thing. That's not saying he can't do it. They haven't given him the work. Eckler's been a 500-yard rusher. Eckler's now going to be a minimum 800 to 950 to maybe 1,000-yard rusher in 2020. That is a whole hell of a lot more yardage than he's used to on the ground. That can account for any dip he might have in PPR work, given that Rivers is departed. Eckler's in for a huge monster season. It's going to be funny when Eckler is a top 5 running back for a big part of the year. Maybe he finishes number 7. Maybe he doesn't, he kind of bounces around and has a cup of coffee with a top 5. Wouldn't shock me if he was like 7, you know. But I'm going to love it when Eckler's on fire in 2020 and everybody pretends that they didn't say that Eckler was crazy over Julio, over Hill, over Adams. I'll take Eckler and Godwin all day long. And I like Adams and I love Tyreek Hill, but I'll take Eckler and Godwin over uh, over Adams and Fournette or Adams and Mixon any day of the week. Any day of the week. Same with Parker. Look at his QBs. You guys are still fighting about Parker. Devontae Parker has upside. Whoever's arguing against him, he has upside. Christian McCaffrey, Woods. You guys are having some side conversation I'm not even caught up with. People act like Taylor is Mahomes. I don't know what that means. Hunt and Edwards will win you leagues. I believe that to be true. DK over Parker. I like DK a lot more than Parker. I do like Parker a lot, though, but I like DK a lot more. Hill can be the best wide receiver in fantasy. He also could do something horribly wrong and be kicked out of the league at any moment. I'm not saying to worry too much about that, but Hill, injury-wise, off the field-wise, there's some risk there, bro. He could easily be Hardman 2020 for that reason. I think he not only is protected the value you would draft him at and get you some really, really good production. I love Mecole Hardman at double-digit round value. We're talking 10-plus round value. He can be – someone's going to catch footballs from Patty Mahomes that isn't named Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. And even if you mix in that Clyde Edwards-Hilaire is going to catch 55-plus passes end of year, even if he starts off slow, there's still a lot of volume to be had. And I think that protects Tyreek into some very, very safe – I'm sorry, Mecole Hardman into some very, very safe value. And if something happens to Hill, he gets hurt, you're going to see Mecole Hardman skyrocket. He could be a monster in 2020. I love Mecole Hardman. Give me some Mecole Hardman all day long. I was basically saying people are acting like Tyrod is going to isn't going to utilize Eckler. Tyrod dumps to his running back fairly well, believe it or not. And if you take that down tick into consideration for Eckler because laser locking Phillip Rivers isn't laser locking onto Eckler all day long, they planned and schemed a lot for Eckler regardless of who is throwing the football. They go to him by design, and I got to replace that light bulb. They go to that light bulb too. What in the? They go to Eckler on purpose early and often. Now, let's say some of that gets scaled back. I get it. Take a little bit off of the top of Eckler's wide receiver numbers, his PPR game, but throw it all back onto his running. He's going to run. He's going to go from 500 and something yards rushing a season to at least 850, 900. And that's going to account for any dip he has in PPR work. Eckler is going to eat. If Eckler stays healthy, that's the only thing I think people can rip on. If Eckler can't stay healthy, then clearly he's going to be a bust. But if Eckler can stay healthy, and I see no reason why he can't, I think Eckler is going to be a top 5 to 10 running back. And people that think he's too high at 7, 8, 9, 10, where I think I don't take him there because I don't have to. So earlier on, when we're talking about MT and Eckler, you're not going to be faced with that decision. I'm merely telling you that Eckler is going to be in that conversation of being as valuable end of season as a Mike Evans, as a Tyreek Hill, as a Devontae Adams. And I'd rather have that player at 9, 10, 11 and get Godwin later. So that's all I got to say about that. I have a question. Ask away. Sammy balled out in the playoffs. Sammy's going to be replaced by Mecole Hardman by midseason, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, bro. Godwin over Julio. Argument to be made there that either one could outscore the other. Nobody is crazy for saying that Godwin will outscore Julio. That's not crazy, man. It's not that crazy. And to say that Julio will be the number one wide receiver isn't crazy. What's crazy is when people take these hard-nosed stances saying, how can you not have Julio number 2? You're insane for not having Julio number 2. Julio could be 2. He could be 5. He could be 10. He's not a spring chicken. He's had a history of foot problems. There's no telling when he's going to fall off. I like to be a year early than a year late jumping ship on a player. If you want to hang on for another year and you end up getting great production out of Julio, good on you. I'm still going to go safe. I'm still going to go with a guy that I feel has a little bit more safety to his name. And that's the way I roll. It doesn't mean that I'm wrong. It doesn't mean you're wrong. Julio is definitely in. Julio always gets receptions and yardage, so that's why he's always a top wide receiver. True, Dylan, until he doesn't. I mean, Julio's one day you're going to be wrong. If you're going to have that stance on Julio until he turns 34, 35, one of these days you will be wrong. And it doesn't mean that he's going to drop off this year, but there's a good problem, or a good chance that there's a good chance, not a good problem, a good chance that it happens within 1 to 1.5 years. He had a bunion. No, he had his foot. He had a screw in his foot, bro. His foot is always painful to him. He's been on just because he hasn't missed a game because of his foot doesn't mean he hasn't been on the injury report constantly throughout his career for his foot. But to your point, he's been relatively healthy in terms of playing games. So is there a shot that he plays 16 games in 2020? Sure. But at some point, a 31-year-old with a known foot issue, not bunion, not a foot issue he got over, there's an issue there, bro. It's sore on occasion for this guy, and he's on the injury report for it. Julio is the most talented wide receiver in the NFL, says Dylan again. Dylan, we get it. You love Julio. Like, I'm not telling you he's not popular or trending yet. Like, so I don't blame you for not liking my Hollywood Brown pick and call. Not a lot of people do. A lot of people hated my Dalvin Cook call last year. A lot of people hated, and not that I hate everything, a lot of people hated my Darrell Henderson call last year, and that didn't work out well. I take accountability when I miss things. But Hollywood Brown looks legit. Hollywood Brown struggled with a foot issue last year and has been working out. He's young. He's recovered well. This live stream bugging for some reason. Some people. What do you mean? Will Fuller be top 15? I mean, he could be really good per start, but how many games will he start? MT and fantasy Julio in real life. Fuller getting hurt week 3. Yeah, hopefully lasts that long. Buffering. I don't know, man. It looks like I got a strong connection. Anybody else having buffering problems? It might be you. Fuller can't stay healthy. Either can Cooks, but together maybe they form one solid wide receiver. Buffering a bit. Okay, let me turn Wi-Fi off. Let me know that's better. So back to the board here. Again, McCaffrey, Barkley, Kamara, Zeke, Cook. Past that, I'm not loving that first round. I'd rather somehow accumulate a massive amount of picks in this range, or even if we're talking about like auction, if we're talking about an auction, rather than spend a boatload of money on a Mike Thomas or an Adams, you could drop less money on a Godwin and afford more money on players that would fall right in this range. You can get a lot more bang for your buck, I think, buying Godwin type players, AJ Brown type players, than going after Mike Thomas's, going after Tyreek Hill's, going after Devontae Adams type players. So Mahomes, Lamar, Drake, Eckler, Godwin are all absolute steals in the second round. These are guys that can win your league. Clyde, Mahomes, Lamar, you're going to see some repeats because they fall here. Clyde, Mahomes, Lamar, Kelsey, Kittle, Galladay are all winning you leagues from the third round if you can develop good teams around them and they do stay healthy. Obviously, you're not going to get all those guys. I'm saying if you were to get even one of those players in there, one of those players in there, one of those players in there. Imagine coming away with Kamara and Godwin and Mahomes. And then in round 4, you're lucky enough to get a Melvin Gordon, an A.J. Brown even, a DK Metcalf, a Waller. Imagine that team. And we'll even say Zeke. We'll say Zeke, Godwin, Mahomes, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, Waller. Imagine that team. That team would be off the hook. And I don't know if you guys saw what I did in the Scott Fishbowl League, but this is my team in the Scott Fishbowl League. I got the 1.01 pick. I took CMC. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. CMC. Then I took Jacobs. It's a super flex, so I took Watson. So I got Watson. Part of my bad writing, it's hard to write on this board for some reason at the angle I'm at. Then at wide receiver, I got A.J. Brown. I got A-Rob. I got Hollywood. At my flex spot, I got Hunt. And at tight end, I got Jared Cook. That's my Scott Fishbowl League from the 1.1 12-man expert league. And, oh, I'm sorry, it's a super flex. Cam. Tight end premium. Watson, Cam. Christian McCaffrey, Jacobs. A.J. Brown, A-Rob. Hollywood, Hunt, Jared Cook. Freaking fire. I haven't found very many people that don't love that team. Usually everyone I've come across has been like, bro, that team is absolutely sick. How did you pull that off in a super flex tight end premium league? How the hell did I get Jared Cook? That's just my lineup, bro. That's just my lineup. I didn't put my backups. That's my lineup. Bro. Hunt's my flex. Hollywood's my third player. My backup quarterbacks, I got like Tyrod, I got Fitzpatrick, I got Stidham just in case to back up Cam. If the Cam experiment doesn't work, I got Stidham. That's kind of a smart move for people in Superflex. If you end up drafting Cam, draft Stidham as well very late, like the tail end of your draft, or in Superflex, I guess not tail end. But I got Stidham, I got Tyrod Taylor, and I got Ryan Fitzpatrick. Because Ryan Fitzpatrick and Tyrod Taylor are both capable of not starting come midseason, Hazel, I needed to make an additional smart move and get Stidham just to back up Cam. So I pretty much love that. The fantasy industry was hating on Barkley last year because he underperformed. Now everyone's back on. It's too funny. I agree, man. Barkley's my 1.01. The only reason I took Christian McCaffrey instead of Barkley was because of the crazy schedule that this thing has, where in your playoff scoring, this is how it works. So the regular season is weeks 1 through 12, and then the playoffs are 13, 14, 15, and 16. That's the playoffs. In your first round of the playoffs, right here, your score is actually what you score in this week added to your average score from weeks 1 through 12. So to make the math simple, let's say I score 150 on average from weeks 1 through 12. I add 150 to what I actually score in week 13. So let's say I scored 150 again. That would be a 300-point week 13 for me. So McCaffrey's bye is in week 13. So my first reaction was, why would I take a guy that's on a bye in the playoffs? And then I thought to myself, is there an advantage? And then Scott Fish actually got back to me and said there actually is kind of an advantage. He's not trying to tell me one is better than the other strategy. But he just said, just so you know, think about it. If you average more points weeks 1 through 12 because you don't have McCaffrey on a bye at all between weeks 1 through 12, that 150 mark is going to be higher, and you might get a first round bye. So I might have McCaffrey on a bye on the week that I actually have my bye, and that would be ideal. I would absolutely kill it if I could get a bye week in week 13, not even ever see McCaffrey sit on my bench because I have a bye. So that's kind of why I went with McCaffrey. He also scored the second most points in this counselor as the best team in the right. That's a good one, bro. Pimpin' ain't easy. So the counselor's got the best team in the suit, Scott Fishbowl. I think his team was somebody showed it to me. It was it's pretty bad. It was I think his team was Tannehill was his starting quarterback. Tannehill, I forget who his other quarterback was. It's a super flex. I forget who his other quarterback was. I think he went Barkley, so I like that pick. I think he went Jacobs. Oh, Teddy Bridgewater was his second quarterback. Teddy, I think it was. Probably, I think he had, yeah, I think he had David Johnson. I think he had Jacobs, DJ, and then I think his wide receivers were not. He might have had one good wide receiver, and I didn't like the rest. Like his team was pretty bad, I think. If Tannehill, no one's shutting anybody up, bro. Pimpin', there's no way his team beats this team. There's just no way. I have Watson and Cam Newton in a super flex. I have Christian McCaffrey and Jacob still. I have A.J. Brown, A-Rod, and Hollywood and Hunt, and still have Jared Cook in a tight end premium league. No way he's shutting anybody up, even if Tannehill does well. Like his team is not better than that team, bro. I appreciate you though, Big Pimpin' ain't easy, but clearly you are a pro counselor person. Thanks, Avi. Avi says the team's nasty. His only wide receiver was Galladay, says Cobbin. Listen to Cobbin. Smitty, what rounds do you get all these guys? So, yeah, let me remember. So this was obviously round 1. This was round 2. This was round 3. And remember, as a super flex, I get a comment every time someone says, why would you take Watson in the 3rd round, Smitty? It's a super flex. That was an absolute steal. Then it was round 4, round 5. God, I feel like I'm missing somebody big. I think I took Cam in round 6, again, super flex. And I want to say 7, 8, 9, and I know I have more players than this. I feel like I'm missing somebody really key. Probably have an even better team than this. So I forget who it is. But I want to say those are the rounds. I'm guessing. I'm pretty sure that is correct. Don't you have Jacobs? I did put Jacobs. He's right here. He's right there, bro. I'm not a fan. I can't stand him. Well, his team isn't good, bro. So I don't know why you're saying his team's good. It's not good. I don't have Deontay, no. I have Mecole. I think I have Mecole Hardman. Do I have No, I may not. I don't think I have Mecole. I have Sternberger. I have Sternberger as a backup tight end. I also have, I forget who it is. I may be able to look it up, actually. I got a computer right here. Let me give it a look. A little look-see. And tell you who my team is. I'll even flip the screen around. Scott Fishbowl. I'll even show you the draft. How's that? How is that? I'm in the kite division because it's all based on toys for kids. I want to see the counselor's team too. I forget. I might be able to look it up, actually. Yeah, let's look it up. I can look it up. Here's the draft, though, just so you guys can see it. So it went McCaffrey, Barkley, Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, again Superflex. I know that background makes it hard to read. Elliott, Kamara, Derrick Henry, Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Mike Thomas, Miles Sanders, Mark Andrews, again tight end premium as well. Dak Prescott. See, I just think this like 12 and 13 pick, Mark Andrews and Dak Prescott. I just don't see how you can recover from that. I understand it's super flex. I understand it's tight end premium, but that just leaves you no room for getting value. Like you're getting about like right value. Like in the end, those guys will probably like maybe earn that value in hindsight, given the scoring, or they can maybe get close. But you have no upside there. Dak's not going to finish in the top, relatively speaking, if you consider all the other positions and how each position outscores everybody at that position. Dak doesn't warrant that 2.01 in my opinion. And Andrews is super high. I love Andrews, but he's playing with type 1 diabetes. He's pricking his finger 30 times a game. There's a reason to be a little concerned. The counselor isn't in this draft. There's thousands of people in this Scott Fishbowl, and I didn't get put in his league, unfortunately. Dalvin Cook was a steal at 2.03. Aaron Jones was too high at 2.02. Aaron Jones would be too high at 2.02 even in a regular draft. Mixon too high for me in a super flex draft, 2.04. Adams was decent value at 2.05. Nick Chubb, 2.06. Drew Brees. I love Eckler at 2.9. Drake, I was really sad to see Eckler and Drake both go at 2.10. And then Kyler Murray would have been fantastic in a super flex league. But he went. And so I was lucky enough to get Deshaun Watson and Jacobs with my back-to-back picks. How many super Scott Fishbowls are there? It's all one league for one winner, bro. But there's like hundreds of leagues, and they get narrowed down based on the playoffs. I would totally run my team versus his in a separate league. Like take these teams that we just drafted, and he had a beef with me. I didn't have a beef with him. Rapper is a watered down counselor. I like the rapper. I don't think he's a watered down counselor. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the ADP data from all the hundreds of leagues. Latest QB1 in the Superflex was at 10th round. Latest tight end one in a tight end premium Superflex was 22nd round. Longest wide receiver run was 11. Latest running back one was drafted at 12.12. Counselor has such a no, he doesn't, Kyle. It's not as big as you think, bro. Counselor is probably, I would guess, 5 times my size on Instagram. In reality, bro, you can't look at follower count to really see, man. I'd say he's 5 times my size. And I created my Instagram account 1.5 years ago. FF. Oops. Yeah, I don't know how he got verified either. Okay. Here's his team. Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs. I love the first 2 picks, to be honest. Todd Gurley, awful pick, especially in a super flex, making him almost a second drafted player. Galladay, I love that pick. Tannehill is awful. Jared Cook, I can't crap on that. I have him as my tight end, but I feel like I wonder who he could have got there. Hilton, I mean, he could be okay, but that's early to make him that high drafted on your team. Teddy Bridgewater, those QBs are awful. You're in a super flex league. Oh my God, what other QBs does he have? Trubisky's his only other QB. Holy, he's done. He's done. You can't win a superflex league with Tannehill and Bridgewater as your only two quarterbacks, with Mitchell Trubisky as your backup. You just can't. You have to have a third quarterback. You have to have a third quarterback that is at least on the field. And he may not have a second quarterback by mid-season that's on the field. I think Tannehill will do good. Good is different than great, though. So I think that team doesn't even come close to my squad, which is I'm under the Smitty Show on Instagram. So you'll be able to see my draft now. Oh, look at my Antonio Brown pick in the 10th. I thought it was gold. So McCaffrey, Jacobs, Deshaun Watson, A.J. Brown, Allen Robinson, Cam Newton is my super flex, my second quarterback in the super flex. Kareem Hunt, Hollywood Brown, Jared Cook. Antonio Brown could be a league winner. He could do nothing, and it doesn't cost me anything. You guys have similar starts. Yeah, at the first two picks, but then it gets drastically different. Antonio Brown could be a huge, huge difference maker. I love the Lat Murray pick. I love the A.J. Dillon pick. I love the Tony Pollard pick. Sternberger was okay. I felt like I had to go tight end there. Tyrod Taylor and Fitz I'm not excited about, but I feel like I had to grab backup QBs. DD I'm not real excited about. Stidham I thought was smart because if Fitz or Tyrod don't work out, at least I have Cam and Stidham cuffed. Jamal, I didn't love that pick, but the fact that I had Dillon, I feel like having the for sure backup in Green Bay behind a running back, Aaron Jones, who struggled to stay healthy, was pretty smart. I'm not going to say I love any of my picks from round 15 on. They were just all the right picks at the right time. Komet, I needed to take another tight end just in case. I have Jared Cook. I have Sternberger and Jared Cook and Komet, so kind of had to. But Jamal Williams and Dillon kind of lock up the running back situation in Green Bay. I just think that's not a bad bet to put on that Aaron Jones, who struggled to stay healthy every single year in a modified offseason where he's probably not in the best shape of his life. I thought it was a pretty solid move. Pretty solid. But you know what the difference makers are going to be potentially? Tony Pollard, Antonio Brown, Kareem Hunt, Lat Murray. Those are those like wild cards that one of those land. It's like, watch out. But I love this team. I think it's pretty solid. I think it's pretty good. I don't always love all my teams, but I love that team. You like mine better slightly because of the cube. How do you? To each his own, bro. But I don't see how they're even close. Kareem Hunt is the best pick on that list. Thank you, Captain. I don't know if that's a compliment or you saying you don't like the rest of my picks. Like the sound of those wild cards, though. I do too, John. I think Pollard, Lat Murray, A.J. Dillon. I got a lot of upside. Kareem Hunt with one of those guys becoming like a top 10 running back for a chunk of the year. Elliott could get hurt, suspended. Who knows what the hell Elliott's up to? Chubb, I think Chubb is not a lock to play 16 games. That's just my gut feeling. You can rip on that if you want. I don't, I have some evidence to suggest that there's a possibility. People thought he was very injury prone heading into 2019, and he proved people wrong. So you could rip off that injury label if you want. I wouldn't think you're crazy at all. But aggressive runner, big knee injury in his past, that doesn't go away. A lot of people don't understand knee injuries. I've had my knee injuries my whole career, whole life. Knee injuries, when you have something as devastating as Nick Chubb had, where your knee is completely like broken at the knee or whatever, you have lingering effects that hit you quicker than the average bear. Let me put it that way. So same thing with Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley's seeing arthritis and issues in his knee that other people that hadn't suffered big knee injuries wouldn't necessarily see. And you have the degenerative arthritis aspect as well, which you can have even if you don't have a knee injury. But you specifically are more prone to arthritis and meniscus problems and all that when you tear your knee up badly, like Chubb did. You get a heavy duty workload like Chubb did get in 2019, almost leading the league in rushing. And now you're giving him Stefanski, who's coming over from Minnesota, to feed him like crazy. And if he stays healthy, Nick Chubb's going to ball out like no other. Nick Chubb could lead the league in rushing. That's how much Stefanski's going to run Nick Chubb. He's going to run the hell out of him. It just worries me that a guy with his aggressive style, with his so-called injury risk, and the fact that he does a lot of his stuff between the tackles mostly, I freaking think that Kareem Hunt is going to be league-winning type stuff in 2020. I can't wait for Kareem Hunt to be utilized. A person I like Counselor's team more. I can't believe you're saying that either, bro. I think you're probably the only one, Purple. I feel you're the only one. It doesn't bother me, though. His team has no quarterback depth at all. He doesn't even have starting material for his quarterback. And his team, let me see if I can go back to it. Oh. Like, I can understand it if there were, like, we started off two players, we looked about the same, and then it took a drastic turn. Let me see. My team, I got to go back to this. I don't think I'm wrong, but maybe I am. Maybe his team is better than I'm giving it credit. I don't think so, but I got to go back now after you're telling me you like his team better than mine. I am a little offended. I am a little bit offended. I'm a little bit offended. Barkley, Jacobs, I have McCaffrey, and Jacobs. Okay, so I have Watson, A-Rob, and A.J. Brown. He has Gurley, Galladay, Ryan Tannehill. We both have Jared Cook. I've got Hollywood Brown, Kareem Hunt. He's got Hilton, Bridgewater. I've got Cam. He's got Deontay. I don't see how. I don't even see how that team's even close. Yeah, he's had weird years to wow me, and I'm not wowed. I'm not wowed by this team at all. He has one wide. Yeah, he has one. He has Galladay. You could maybe say Hilton's like a good 3-4. Jose says your team is better. I think it's better by a mile, bro. Like, I'm offended by people saying my team's better. I'm offended that people aren't saying your team is crushing his team. His team is, come on. Really? Really? Jefferson's going to surprise people. You talking about Justin Jefferson? Bro, but he's a rookie, man. You can't expect a rookie wide receiver to do what A.J. Brown did. This is a redraft league, a super flex league. You can't win with Tannehill and Bridgewater with no backup after that. Trubisky, you cannot win a super flex league with no wide receivers. He has just Galladay, maybe Hilton, but one legitimate wide receiver and no quarterbacks to compete. This is the worst super flex team you could draft. I don't know how someone could even. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm taking offense to it. I've had a long day, but to be told that my team is not as good as that one. Let me show you this bad boy one more time. Look at that son of a bee. No way. No way to super flex. This dude's even got close to what I've got. There's just no way. There's no way. Tannehill and Bridgewater versus Watson and Cam. Superflex. You can't win. You can't win with Tannehill and Bridgewater in Superflex. And you can't beat a team with Watson and Cam. Running backs, Barkley, Jacobs, and Gurley. McCaffrey, Jacobs, and Hunt. I'll take Hunt over Gurley all day long. If you disagree with me, that's fine. It's arguable. We'll find out end of year who's got that one right. But McCaffrey, Jacobs, and Hunt versus Barkley, Jacobs, and Gurley. If you even want to give them the edge on that because you're a Gurley lover, I understand. I'm not mad at that. Okay, so you think what you want on that, and I'm not mad at anybody in particular. I'm just ranting on this because it's funny. So then if we go wide receivers, Galladay, Hilton, and Deontay versus A.J. Brown, A-Rob, and Hollywood. Not even freaking close. Not even close, bro. That is not even like in the same universe, let alone ballpark. And then Cook, we both have Jared Cook. Both have Jared Cook. He copied me there. And then his depth, I like the Madison pick. And A.J. Dillon, we both have. And that's it. I don't like any of those other picks. I don't like Jefferson, not in a redraft. I hate Bridgewater as your second QB. Jack Doyle's okay at best, but, would I have taken him as a backup tight end? Sure. So not horrible. Pittman, no, not yet. Robbie Anderson, no. Trubisky, he's not even, no, he wouldn't even start. Lazard, he's okay. A.J. Dillon, I like that. T. Higgins, a rookie. What's he drafting all these rookies for? Higgins, Chase Claypool, Benjamin. These are all rookies. He's got the all-rookie team. This is a redraft. How many rookies does he have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dude's got all rookies, man. Oh, my God. Smitty, you're undervaluing Greer. Am I? Purple, am I? Really? I'm undervaluing Greer? Oh, I honestly, the God's honest truth is I've actually liked Greer, and I think Greer looks okay. Like, he does look okay, but we're talking about a redraft team. You don't even draft Greer. I hope you're joking, Purple. If not, Purple is actually the counselor. I want to hear Purple's reaction. Purple, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean to you, bro. If Teddy goes down, I mean, okay. So the fact that if you want to argue it that way, Purple, that he's backing up, like he didn't get another QB, so he's backing up his QB spot. I understand. Purple is the counselor's burner account. I understand that point, but you literally, the words you said was, I was undervaluing Greer. I'm completely joking. Okay. Purple, you had me going there for a minute. You had me rolling. Benjamin. Eno or Edwards or Chase Edmonds, Eno or Edmonds, one of those guys is going to be the backup in Arizona, and that will be valuable. That is important. I think that's not the worst move ever, but he doesn't have Edmonds. He doesn't like Edmonds. He doesn't like. All right, I've had enough of the counselor. Let's move on. Let's move on. Hit the thumbs up. We got 37 to 55 people in here constantly and only 22 thumbs up. You let YouTube know you're enjoying the show regardless. And Purple, you're my guy. Don't worry. We're good, right? Bro fist, Purple? Sometimes I go at people once in a while. It's all in good fun. It's all in good fun. The Greer comment got me, though. You definitely got me. You tricked me. The burner account. That's funny. Smitty, did I miss the insider call? Uh, Insider call for what? Let's get him started on Nikhil. Who? Me? Me started on Nikhil? I hope Nikhil gets a shot. There's no guarantee. I know you were messing with me, Purple. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Webb. I think Webb's poking at my Nikhil Harry love. Nikhil Harry's got all the talent in the world. We don't know if he's going to get a shot. I can admit that, Webb. I can admit we don't know. We don't know if Nikhil's going to get unleashed, but I think people pulling that cord on the Nikhil Harry project after one injured year where he came back and looked pretty darn good at moments. He looked phenomenal on that touchdown dive for the pylon where he actually got into the end zone and scored, and they took it away from him. Ja, Webb. Who drafted more rookies, rapper in the Throne League or counselor in the SFB? I don't know, man. A tie. Starting to think they might be the same person. I have been watching NFL since 1970. I do fantasy show on radio, says Captain. I do a fantasy show too, Captain. All right, I'm out of here. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for watching. Again, don't forget my favorite players to draft in the first and second and third rounds. Second round specifically, third round here. And then if you want to see my fourth, fifth, and sixth rounders, go on over to my YouTube channel, hit that join now button. Join the community memberships. There's exclusive memberships, gets you access to nothing gets taken away from my YouTube channel, but I'm adding more content for people that just want more. And in that latest video I posted, you will see my fourth, fifth, and sixth round favorite players to grab. Later, everybody. I appreciate you, Big Pimpin'. What's up, Guinness? Brady told Nikhil that he was going to be great this year. I hope so, man. I hope. Good to see you, Guinness. I'm glad to see you on the show. And Purple, I appreciate you. Webb, all of you guys. John, later, my man. I'm trying to see if I missed any. I mean, obviously missed some people. Jose, if you got a question, email me. I don't know if you wanted to call right now or not, if that's what you're saying. Email me, and I'll answer any question you have to. Or DM me on IG might be even easier. I don't know about a mock tonight. Probably not, but you never know, bro. You never know. Later, everybody. Appreciate every one of you. I didn't mean to go at any of you. I was just having fun. Later.